Welcome to RPG Blokes, the podcast that proves you don't need to be Matt Mercer to sit behind the screen. Today we're tackling the dreaded bad DMs. Yes, the railroading tyrants, the rules-obsessed overlords, or the ones that think their campaign is a 200-page novel that they're reading out loud. If you've ever sat at a table and thought, this could be great, if only the DM wasn't sabotaging their own game, then this episode is for you. Introducing the RPG Blokes. I'm your host, Mark, and to my left is Barry, the eternal player. He's never DM'd, never will, and honestly that's fine, because every table needs a Barry. The one who keeps the rules straight, keeps the in-game pints flowing, and triggers the occasional TPK.
Guilty as charged.
To my right is Stephen, the gardener in the group. He cultivates campaigns, carefully pruning away nonsense, watering down the plot when it gets dry, and pulls up players like weeds when they call him out for his loaded dice.
Never had any.
John, opposite me, is still traumatised from my Ravenloft campaign 30 years ago. He's always believed he was the victim of bad DMing. And no, how many times do I have to say I'm not paying for a therapist?
I'm not going to see one of them guys again. Jeez.
It's a bad DM. So I've got a lot of categories of bad DMs here.
Have I got a bingo card to fill out? Because I'm pretty sure I'm going to.
So all of us, because we've DM'd for so long, are probably guilty of the whole lot of these. It's true. But would we describe ourselves as having any of these traits inherently and kind of consistently? Well, we could probably tell each other now if that's the case. And Barry, well, it's open season for you, mate. I mean, you've got nothing to lose, have you? Apart from us DMing to you ever again in the future, I suppose.
Oh, no.
To show you, starting straight off, right? We'll the Tyrant DM is the first one that I'm going to ask us to talk about. That's the DM that runs the table like a dictator. So no player agency, only obedience. Those kind of DMs exist because they're quite insecure, or maybe they're just less experienced than perhaps others that might allow the game to flow a little bit more. They can get quite worked up when things don't go the way that they expect them to go. I mean, we've all had those feelings as a DM, especially when I was younger. I did have those feelings where, you start to sweat and think, oh shit, this is not the way it's meant to go. And these players are trying to stitch me up here. And I think it's quite easy to kind of take offence at that and get upset at it happening. It's quite, I don't know, particularly when you were younger. In
fairness, you get a ref like that, they'll last for 2-3 sessions. The only reason that's going to continue is if there's no one else that wants to ref, in which case that's on them.
Somebody has to do it. You've
got to adapt, change. I mean, it's like a gateway heading into other types of bad reffing, but it's not going to work long term.
I know the feeling. Yeah, it's a terrible feeling to have as a DM if you're in that position. And if that's your approach in the first place, then you're asking for it.
I think it's a trait of an inexperienced DM, I think, that one, the Tyrant DM. I think, because you want everything to go exactly how you planned it before you came along to the session. And I think John's right. It is a learning curve. I think all these traits, I think the worst DM would be the one that did not learn and then just stuck to it throughout. And then, as I say, I don't think there'll be a DM for very long. Sort of fraught games, everyone seems on the edge. Nobody really enjoys it. So either the DM sort of shifts the way he does it, or it'll finish.
Barry, as a player that likes to kind of do quite unpredictable things in the game, you would be a nightmare for a Tyrant DM. I mean, have you ever had that happen? A DM kind of say, "What the fuck are you doing?" Like,
honestly, only you. Genuinely, and even when you were doing that, it was in jest. I think I've been very lucky that all of my role playing experience has been in our club, and we do have a pretty decent crop of DMs from. So, I'm not saying that they're all as good as each other, and I'm not saying. And this is the other thing. I think John, it was a really good point that no one starts out being brilliant at stuff. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like it's the people that don't learn from those things and don't move on and change. But no, apart from you mucking about, I haven't experienced that.
Remind me of that one.
It was.
Was he mucking about?
It must have been. I mean, we were talking about it before we started recording, but it must have been Tomb of Annihilation. I did go completely fucking gung ho.
Yeah.
Once I had my first character, I think was called Seth. He lasted like 2 sessions, Dragonborn Wizard. And
I'd forgotten all about Seth.
No.
Yeah.
No,
But I remember him now.
No, so I just decided that. Do you know what? I wonder how many characters I can get through in a campaign, or do you know what I mean? Literally,
That was it. Session 2 out of 18 months. That's what.
And that I do have I do feel a burden of responsibility to some extent, because it did kind of set the tone for the rest of the campaign. Once I decided, do you know what? I'm not going to get attached to any of these guys. I'm just going to play them as
I remember that clearly now, because you went out in the garden, didn't you? Had a bit of a smoke, and I remember you coming back and say that one hit me. I quite like Seth. He was my go-to. He was going to be my next. He was what was he? A wizard?
He was a Dragonborn wizard. First time I played a wizard. First time I'd played a Dragonborn.
And was that your first character that died?
And I know it's the kiss of death, but I had a miniature, and I got a paint monkey to paint that miniature magnificently for me. It looked absolutely wicked, and I think it was literally the week that I turned up with the miniature. Yeah. So we were probably 3 weeks in. We probably did session 0. Then I turned up with a miniature.
That is the most dangerous session for a character. The first one you bring a miniature along to.
And then I had a monk. I think 3 sessions. The monk. I didn't get a miniature for her.
Well, I didn't realise it had such a profound effect on you, and it wasn't because I was being a tyrant. It's just that is a meat grinder of a campaign, and yeah, you were going to get killed a lot in that. Always
old school. That's what it is.
I got killed more times than is healthy. but again, and it's like, and I say this to people, like people get really hung up about character death, and I'm like, I love this game and I really, really enjoy it. But the brilliant thing about character death is you get to roll up another one.
Character death, if it's unfair, may come under the tyrant.
Yeah.
Yeah, a good DM
unfair,
needs to be aware of that, doesn't it? And kind of back off from something that does appear to be unfair, if it's
if it's unfair, if you got miniature, just bring back his twin brother, and exactly the same, pretty much. He's back.
Just like Junior. I've come to a bit. Yeah.
And the Tyrant DM looks at you and goes, "All right."
Well, no, but also I would say as well, if you see a DM go out of their way to make sure a character survives, I feel as badly about that as I do about them dying, because that's that character's
that's the overly kind DM.
That's that character's story.
Yeah. So we move on. That's a great start. But the next one I've got here is the Storyteller DM. He won't let go. He's written his scenario. He's written it like a novel, and this is the way it's going to happen, whether you guys like it or not. So he's literally wants this idea he has to play out word for word. I know some of these DMs can be excellent, actually, if you were to just go with that, and you kind of know what you're getting yourself into, and you're prepared to play that sort of game. They can be great. But a lot of people don't get on with those particularly well.
It sounds quite similar to the Tyrant DM, I suppose, isn't it? It's going to be my way or no way. But I think maybe DMs like that come into the hobby in a different, maybe they've read a lot of books. Maybe they're thinking, maybe Lord of the Rings, maybe they think it has to be a very structured kind of scenario. I think they've got the best intentions there. I think if they can just release the reins slightly, become less tyrannical with it.
So I have a question for you guys as DMs, and it's like I know that people do like homebrew, but also people work from pre-written modules. So, I mean, can the Storyteller DM ruin a pre-written module by sticking to it that rigidly, or is it exclusively?
I think they go for the homebrew. I think you find most of these are.
They're less likely to do pre-written, and I think it's more forgivable if they do it with their own material.
So we played at Dragon Warriors. Yeah. And I was chatting to the DM after that had come to an end, and it was the whole thing was a plot to an old black and white U-boat movie, and I was just like, "That's brilliant."
That's the game I think about when I think about this type of DM. He really had put a lot of effort into the story. He'd thought about it and the complexities of it, and it was his intention to tell that story. Mm-hmm. And there weren't many places where you could deviate. He didn't give the illusion that you were in a sandbox at all.
For me, it worked. Yeah. I didn't feel like I was being railroaded.
Oh, he'd done a great job.
Yeah,
some players might like that kind of style, that they don't have to make too many decisions, and a lot of the stuff is already pre-written for them, and they don't mind going with it. I mean, it depends what sort of player you are as well with these sort of DMs, but especially that one, I think you might enjoy it, you might not.
Yeah, there's been like printed scenarios that have been based on novels or films. So you had the second edition brought out the one based on second Conan Barbarian movie, and you got to play the characters and stuff like that. I don't see the major attraction in it. Really.
Yeah, it's harder as a DM, I think, to play that sort of game because we know where things are being controlled and where they're not, and it's quite clear. For you, perhaps Barry, you can't really see those moments where you're being railroaded quite so clearly. Because as a DM, you gain that experience to see things from the other side.
Yeah, and I get that. And it's another reason that I don't want to DM, because I feel like it might lessen my enjoyment of playing, because I'll be like,
See
oh,
behind
yeah, I
the
know
curtain.
what you're doing here. And I don't want to know what the DM's doing. I don't want to DM.
We're not going to give up, but we get it.
We don't get it.
But
we
what I should
don't.
really do is to use this episode to convince you guys that I would be fucking terrible at it. Why didn't I think of that before we started?
But this
all
is showing.
the self-doubt, all the worry, that is what would make you...
Exactly.
We've all got imposter syndrome. We just cover it better than some
That's true.
others.
So the next one I've got here is the rules lawyer. So behind the screen, obsessed with every rule and doesn't really like the rule of cool very much and kind of holds back things a little bit in that respect.
Yeah, there's certainly, describe a lot of DMs. I think a lot of DMs want to play the rules, but I think it's fine, just as long as they apply the rules consistently. I mean, it's what's worse when the DMs only applies those rules to the players and not to themselves. I'm okay with a rules like DM, just as long as it's consistent. We're playing to the same rules. Everyone knows where they're at, and that's fine. That works, just as long as nothing else is sort of controlled like that. If it's just that, then I think playing within a rule set is fine.
Yeah, but as long as it's down the line, that's okay. Usually you'll find people drift out of it once they become more experienced and relaxed within the system. You double down on the rules when you don't know adaptation, you're not familiar with the scenario, the characters, and then other times, that really fucking works. We're going to go with that.
But then if you are going to make those calls and eventually kind of change the nature of the game and go rule of cool occasionally and don't play as written, you've got to be fair about that as well, haven't you? Because the rest of the players feel as if they're in this sort of very, very strict game, and then suddenly you give somebody an out or somebody an advantage by passing
the
the
way it all
rules.
breaks down.
You could end up having some kind of player animosity, at least between them. There's some frictions.
It should develop organically in the group. It can't start off with, oh, well, this is the NPC that I put in because he's really important to me, to the plot, and he gets to do that thing. No, fuck that.
And Barry, you I think you're a bit of a contradiction. I don't know if you know it when it comes to rule of cool.
I hand on heart, I was just going to open my bit on this with, I'm in two minds about this. And I am. You've got to have the rule of cool from time to time just to make stuff happen, just to move the plot on. I also really like it when DMs use the rule of cool to reward outstanding role play, or, you know, with me, quite often, if I get the rule of cool applied to me, it's because I remembered something that happened more than a month ago. Like, people go, "Oh, Barry remembered something. Quick, give him a little biscuit or whatever."
He's a ref.
But then at the same time, I really love challenging a fucking rule. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that.
And you like things to be fair too. I get the impression. So
Absolutely, 100%. Absolutely, 100%. Again, I've always been lucky. I don't feel like there's ever been any. I've been in a game where a DM's had favourites or the opposite of favourites, if you know what I mean. I've never felt like grudges were being borne out on my table. I don't know if I'm just lucky or if I'm oblivious to all of that shit.
Maybe a little bit, but because it's probably going on. But I'd say that it is something that could be quite damaging to player versus player relationships if somebody's being given too many advantages in the game.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, people get jealous, I'd imagine, in the game. Everyone wants their character to thrive, and if one person's thriving more than the others, then it would cause an issue.
So maybe this is not a weakness, the rules lawyer.
Well, yeah, I suppose there would be a weakness in there. Is chinks in there if you kind of, in the armour, it's if you sort of bend the rules, or if you know the rules better than someone else and you abuse the rules by sort of like looking at rules lawyering, basically. So you kind of examine the rules more than probably humanly you should have done, and you've created a character, or you've done certain situations to use the rules to kill things in the game, or to get an advantage.
You mean as a DM of using their NPCs to kind of really
potentially
nail down?
I think it's more of a player issue, that players have overstudied the rules and then suddenly throw them at the DM, to be honest, and then suddenly, oh, this rule says this, that means that. I I've just gone through this without having to do anything.
That's an awful lot of shorts on YouTube, isn't it? There's so many people doing exactly that.
Because it can lead into rule bending and sort of like getting around things, and circumnavigating things via rules. That's when it becomes too rule heavy, and then you've got to make a judgment call.
Check out RPG Blokes Plus. It's our premium service where we give you the opportunity to help pay our bills. And we guarantee you an episode every week, exclusive live plays and interviews. And that's got to be worth £3 of anyone's money.
RPG Blokes Plus. Regular episodes for a regular you.
Okay, next one is the Fudger. Dice rolls always seem to be accidentally in favour of their monsters or just conveniently in favour of wherever he wants that to go. And, you can fudge not just with dice rolls. I guess you can make NPCs have higher hit points or sort of keep them alive longer than they should.
First of all, I don't think the vast majority of DM's dice rolls should be done secretly.
Yeah.
And generally speaking, particularly in combat, I think everyone's dice should be down and on the table. I don't have a problem with, like, if a DM has thought, right, well, so we've got 4 monsters here, we've got 3 party members, I think this is going to... And the party just storm in and make it look like they're going through them with such ease that it's almost not worth having the encounter. I don't have a problem with a DM flexing under those circumstances and saying, right, there's another 3 monsters coming down that corridor, and funnily enough, they've got double the hit points that these guys had, and making that encounter worth playing. I don't have a problem with that kind of fudging, but dice, you know how I feel about dice.
The sin here is actually being discovered or being seen.
I was going to say, you have to be subtle about it if you're the DM. I mean, if you can do it without anyone knowing, then fine. And then nobody knowing you're fudger. But it's the obvious fudger that's the issue. If you're not rolling the dice in front of everyone, then people are going to assume you're cheating or fudging. You are. I mean, if you're not...
Well, not just with dice, with everything. I've met the ultimate fudger. It's my own son, and he described to me how he's DMing his game. But
Hold on a second. Is this game still ongoing?
Yeah, it's ongoing, but I don't think anyone would listen. I'm giving away his secret.
This comes out.
Basically,
him up by then.
They will listen to it one day.
He says he has his laptop open with the adventure on it, but it's not on it. He says, I'm pretending I'm reading an adventure, and everything I'm doing I'm making up as I go along. And when they do things and think I pretend I'm reading, I say, let me just check. Yep. And I create an illusion that they're playing something very well written into the book, because that's what they want. They want it to all be fair. Yeah. So they don't want to think that I'm making it up or being in any way sort of making an opinion about whether they should be succeeding or not. But if the adventure says, so he's literally sitting there pretending, and he says, sometimes I wait a few minutes and I'll just double checking that. Yeah. Okay. So
you're dead. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that is dishonesty.
Legendary. that is seriously.
If he's keeping track of a story, keeping them engaged with that, and not going. That's fucking epic.
I was quite impressed. I mean, it takes some balls.
I wish I could do that.
But it could all fall down when they realise that it's not the written adventure.
No, it shouldn't.
It's going to all fall down when any of them listen to this, mate.
Too late. They're done. Well, that's standing ovation shit. Seriously.
I know we've got an audience outside of our own society, but we also have an audience within our own society, mate.
Okay. I'm going to trust that nobody will actually listen to that.
Names and that one.
But those kids aren't going to listen to the Fuddy Duddies doing that. Let's face it.
Yeah. That's the way I'm thinking. John, what do you feel about the Fudger? Have you ever fudged? Oh, that's a silly question, of course.
Fucking absolutely. Sometimes it's a good thing. So, say you're interacting with some NPC, you've got to stop doing rolls to see if that NPC knows the thing. Now, I've absolutely dropped the fucking ball on that time and time again.
You've gone with the roll and cut the adventure short.
Sticking with the rules. The scenario has, this is the person that does this, they've got this knowledge skill. But if they failed the knowledge skill, you're done. Fuck that.
So you consider that to be a fudge? Probably it is by definition, and one that you were not likely to do in the past, but you've learned the best
I
thing
won't make
to
the
do.
roll. Not anymore. I'll just do the thing. Other examples of fudging, one I've brought up before. You know the big boss fight is that they're losing action economy and everything else. They're on the way out. you keep them alive just so that everyone else gets to do their cool finishing move.
I see. Yeah. Okay.
Because that gives everyone, skin in the game. They will feel like they've
That's one of the kinds of
something.
fudges that nobody probably would resent, even if you said, I'm doing this, like keeping him up on his feet until you've done your thing.
You've got to narrate it so they're on their toes. No, he's still not fucking dead, right? Let's stick him. And the look on their faces when they get to...
That's subtle fudging, isn't it?
I mean, but that's part of your job, folks. You're telling stories. Do you know what I mean? It's like the only fudging that I don't like is the dice stuff.
I would say to that, I mean, again, it's the railroad in Storyteller, isn't it? If you're fudging it to make sure they stay on that rail, then you're fudging it. I think it probably ties in with player agency somewhere along the line. If you're fudging that much, players are going to go, don't matter what I do.
You can break the spell. It is something an experienced DM can do well, but I wouldn't. It can come across as a flaw in some DMs, I think. And I've done it myself, and I thought that was fucking obvious when I've lost somebody there. Like you say, there's that agency. They no longer feel
if you do it too much.
Right, the next one is the killer DM thinks their job is to beat the players. Stephen, you want to kick us off on this? Because I know you've had more recent experience with that type of DM than most of us.
Yeah, I have. Yeah. Again, it was a similar situation. I think Barry described as we sort of like cleared a room out in a D&D dungeon somewhere. And it wasn't good enough for him. We didn't take enough hit points, so a whole lot more come flying down the corridor. We killed those. Still not good enough. And a load more come down the corridor. It was just relentless, and we was killing them. In the end, he killed us in the end.
Yeah,
because it just felt so unfair, and it felt like us versus him. In the end, it's kind of like,
it doesn't work.
Didn't like it. Yeah,
but a little bit of us versus them can be quite fun, and I bring that into my DM in a little bit of frustration when I'm losing, and and I like a bit of competitiveness there, but it has to be fair. You're not going to change the rules or do that. I'd never do that. That's what he's just done. Fudging. But it's quite fun, isn't it? And I know you quite like that.
I love that. As soon as you enter combat, I want my DM to be playing the monsters, NPCs, whoever we happen to be in combat with, to the best of their ability. I want them to be playing those characters to win. I want the DM to be competitive in that part of the game. I want that.
But fair, yeah.
No, absolutely fair. That's what I'm saying, especially in combat. Like, those dice rolls should be out and about for everyone to see. And don't get me wrong, I don't want my DM specifically targeting us to kill us because I'm...
Yeah, that's what we're talking about here.
But if the dice have said I'm dead, I'm fucking dead.
Yeah, you don't want him being soft on you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or anybody else.
And listen, I might go home and shed a tear, but I'll get some D6s and I'll roll up another one. It's not the end of the world.
That is some old edition bullshit right there, isn't it?
Yeah, but what we would say majority of DMs when we were young, they would be like that. That was what a DM was, yeah.
It's got no real place. But apart from, say, particular scenarios, if it's set up like a tournament situation and you are there and it's balls to the wall, antagonistic, not the players and the DM, but what's on the table, and that's fine. But for normal role-playing, cooperative storytelling and all that, nah.
So I just wonder whether any of these things so far that we're feeling, that's me, are we self-aware enough? Because I don't know, John, this next one, I think it's you. The Monty Hall DM throws out treasure, magic items and XP like confetti until nothing matters.
Again, that was early on to try and keep people ticking along.
Don't do that.
And
what type of people are you trying to keep ticking along?
Well,
the ones that would have left otherwise.
Yes, you're making a rod for your own back.
Absolutely.
You can only have so many shinies, and then you expand, and from the Monty Hall, you then go automatic power gamer.
Who's Monty Hall, by the way?
The game show host.
Yeah. Monty Hall is just mega shit tons of treasure. So it comes a lot from the old computer games where you kill a kobold and it would have a randomly generated amount of money on it for no fucking reason because they never used the stuff. But it just carried on from there, and you'd have expectations, especially when D&D used to have experience points awarded for treasure value, in addition to monsters, puzzles and all that stuff. So the more you had, the more powerful you was. A bit like real life.
I think it's fine to give treasure in games. It's the over giving a treasure to a specific person to sort of like placate them or to bribe them.
So,
I would say is the issue.
I think that's really important.
And power items.
But this comes into players' responsibility as well, though, because for me, right, and I've seen this happen, and I'm looking at someone going, really? So you find a magic item that clearly is suited specifically to one player in the party, and the person that found it fucking keeps it. But no, give it to them.
That's the reverse, Monty.
So players have their moments as well, right?
Yeah, that's true. But the absent prepper is the next one. Turns up with no notes, no plan, and then spends the session Googling monsters.
Not as bad as having a blank computer screen and just making it up, is it? Let's
Let's go over that again.
No. I know.
Awesome.
But I think this one is worse because they're not able to kind of roll with it, not able to sandbox and think on the fly. So what they're doing is they're coming unprepared and then they're reading the adventure.
Very stop-start. I think I have played some games like that when someone hasn't really prepped. So you can tell.
And listen, I've had really good DMs that have delivered the odd session like that because I would rather they did that than cancelled.
I do have trouble sometimes if I want to stick to the adventure. It's really dangerous to come into a session and just think, fuck it, I'm going to just go with whatever happens here because you've got to deal with the consequences of that the next week. So I am very dependent on trying to figure out what should happen. And if I'm not well prepped, I will sit there and I will waste players' time trying to figure it out. When I do it, I feel very self-conscious about it.
Yeah, I must admit, I do try and avoid that one as much as possible by pre-prepping or over-prepping early. So even if you don't have time to prep, you've kind of prepped in the past and you kind of can get through it in that respect. So try and minimise it as possible. It does happen. You might have to look stuff up. But I think as a default setting, you should avoid it. Shouldn't just sort of like say, okay, I don't need to prep, I'll just read at the time because it's not a great experience for players.
Not every session's going to be perfect. Not you just... Sometimes I feel like you guys actually kind of set too high a bar for yourself sometimes and things. I mean, I know this from DJing. I've listened to recordings back of sets that I've played and I'm like, oh, that was pretty average. But then when I look at the response on the dance floor, you're like, well, actually, I smashed it. It's like your experience is not their experience. And it's don't beat yourselves up about stuff like that. You're noticing it 20 times more than your players are. Really? It's just the way of the world. It's just how our brains work. It's how my brains work. I'm much more critical of my own flaws than I am of other people's. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, fair point. This next one, Barry, I'll start with you because I know that you joke about this. I don't know how much it really does bother you. The Perpetual Side Quest Giver.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Someone's lost their widget and they won't tell you where the other widget is until you find the widget that they've lost. And you're like, I don't get me wrong, I'm not like completely anti-side quest. And obviously you've got to structure it so that you're getting information from bits and pieces here and there. But it can get excessive when literally every person you speak to goes, I have a job for you.
Yeah,
literally every single motherfucker in this entire town apparently has a job for us.
It wasn't until you pointed that out to me that it started to bother me because then it was so. Yeah, you're right. Fucking everybody, and you can't get anything done around here without having to go off on a side quest.
And obviously, like we've talked about how much we enjoy like sandbox and stuff like that. But there's got to be some balance between the constant side quests and the plot moving forward.
Yeah, so the side quests can often feel like random encounters, can't they?
The computer game type side quest that you're talking about, the
kill 100 rats.
Now, if I'm playing a computer game, I'm a completionist.
I hear that.
I do the fuck out of a lot of them. If I'm playing a role-play game and not so much side quests, but if there's an interesting NPC, I'll go out of my way to help them to do something. It will have no impact on the game. You don't get XP for it or reward. It's just in your head canon that,
I think that's why it probably works more with you because you're thinking more dynamically about it. People that I get caught out on this kind of thing are running preset adventures. Many of the D&D adventures kind of just fall into that side quest narrative, don't they?
They all have side quests between the sort of the chapters. Some of them they make as optional, but some of them are quite integral to the plot. And sometimes I've ran there's one particular, I think the Planescape one, it was ridiculous on side plots. It was I cringed at just giving out some of these side plots because I thought, oh God,
And
they're going to hate this, but there's another guy that wants you to do something.
And it's the thing, isn't it? 'Cause I don't want it to feel completely linear either. I mean, it is, it's a balance. You know, I'm not saying, ooh, side quests. I'm just saying, look, side quests shouldn't be 80% of the fucking game, which sometimes it feels like they are. Do you know what I mean?
I think presentation, if you do it as, if you do this, I'll do that, or I'll give you this information, that's not brilliant. It'll take a lot more prep work and it's not going to suit everyone. But if you've got those things and they need to happen, you play the NPC.
I guess is that a side quest though? If it needs to happen, that's the thing about side quests.
Okay.
Sometimes you think, well, does it need to happen?
Not need, but say you want to ref it, or you want to see how the player or the character, both sometimes, react and deal with things, because you might be trying to sort of build up an idea of who you've got at the table and how they're going to deal with things for later. If you can just blur the lines so they're not asking, but in conversation, they'll mention something and then they carry on and with whatever they were doing, and see if the player or the character, if they're in character, pick up on that. That makes it a rewarding thing that they've chosen to do.
Yeah, works better.
I think there are levels of side quests, isn't there? There's ones that are just pointless, and they're just obviously pointless just to kill some time. Yeah, or there's ones that are a bit more subtle.
The dinosaur race from Tomb of
Annihilation.
Annihilation.
That is a classic.
Side quest, but great one.
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. If you are going to prepare some side quests, make them bloody good ones.
And that's one of the few times where I've actually bought toys for us to play with ourselves. I know miniatures are technically toys, but I went to the toy shop and bought loads of those little dinosaurs the kids have.
We had little plastic dinosaurs, and they, oh God, you've never seen so many old faces smiling like children.
Yeah, that was great. That's a great
do you want to be a T-Rex or a Stegosaurus? You're like, I want to be a Stegosaurus. It's ridiculous.
Right, I've got only a few more left now. So the next one is the Spotlight Hog. Loves their own NPCs so much that they overshadow the players.
Oh.
Do you want to go with it?
Yeah, I hate that. It's personal hate when DM brings in an NPC, I say in inverted commas, and here they are, the best character. They're the hardest. They're the highest level. They're the most charismatic. They could do absolutely everything the party can do. And
it's a bit like Wayland in our game.
Yeah, him.
You beat me to it.
I'm self-aware, you know.
It is. It's just like that, exactly like that. Yeah, but for some people take it beyond that, beyond the level.
I've got a story about somebody that does this quite badly. He had a character that played this same campaign the first time, and I DM'd it to him, and he brought his own character into the campaign when he DM'd it again after, and he managed to make it look like it was a continuation of my campaign into his character become the main character in this, like, off the scale. He said at one point, that my character was trying to battle the main creature, and everybody else, all they had to fucking do was keep everything else at bay so I could continue, my character could continue, and this is how they had to succeed, but they just couldn't engage with it. They weren't interested in just fighting the zombies.
So his character died? No, exactly. No, he probably did it anyway.
And he's telling me this, and I'm going, you lost your players a little bit there, did you? And he goes, yeah.
That is it. That is terrible. Yeah. Horrible. Don't do it.
Don't go there.
We don't play these games to be a bit play in something else.
No, you got to make your players the main protagonists. Right?
I mentioned it before with, again, it was a D&D campaign from the time of Troubles. As written, and this is standard, you're going along in the wake of certain events, which I get a meta plot and that they've all happened, but you don't get to influence anything. We pulled this little sort of personal victory by blowing our resurrection on a random little halfling that had been killed just to piss off the the guy that killed it. But the ref took that, altered it, changed it, and we were the protagonists in that, and it made it brilliant. Yeah. We wouldn't have got even quarter the way through if it was as written.
Yeah, I think if you're going to put NPCs in, you got to make them kind of background a little bit more subservient, a little bit less kind of sort of like infallible. It's got to be the opposite of that.
It's tricky, isn't it? Because like NPCs are just such an important part of the game, and your character's relationship to those NPCs are really important as well. And like some NPCs end up becoming like more important than I think that DM could have ever imagined, because the characters felt something for them. Do you know what I mean? It's like one of my favourite pieces of advice that I saw about, and it was his DM. He was saying, like, you know, no one's interested in these important NPCs. And they were like, no. Make a load of characters. The ones that your players love are the important NPCs.
Yeah. And give them flaws, like you say, so that when the moment comes, the players are forced to take over the narrative and be the main protagonist. You've got to...
These characters we're talking about, I don't think they're really NPCs. They're DM player characters, DPCs.
Yeah.
Does that thing? Let's go with that. DM player character.
Yeah, and they're fucking annoying, right?
Yeah, the DPCs. Yeah, if it's a part of the story, then fine, and people can live with it. But when it's not, it's just been shoehorned in as your character you played in the last campaign is now the best character in this one.
And everyone else is the supporting cast.
Yeah, no.
And then they're
chance.
doing the big fight and rolling lots of dice, looking up in the chair, grinning as they're visualising. If we wanted to watch someone play with themselves, we wouldn't be at the club, okay? That's what that boils down to.
Yeah. No, that one.
This one is cruel. It's the voice actor wannabe.
What?
Guilty as fuck and will be again, and proud
Depends how
of
good
it.
they are in it, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, I suppose it's a wannabe.
The wannabe bit inherently implies. But again, this is one of the things as well. It's like you have to accept that like people can get better at stuff. Like cut people a bit of slack if that is the thing. Like I've said on the podcast, I've said it in public. I don't do voices when I play. Everyone sounds like me because I know. Also, I don't enjoy doing it. Do you know what I mean? But if someone enjoys doing it and they're getting better at it, then cut some slack. Also, I think it's really funny when you get like there's a DM that can basically do one accent really fucking well, and so everyone in wherever this is set all of a sudden is from fucking Birmingham or somewhere. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, you're experiencing that at the minute, but it still works. I was there too. It's great because he's putting an accent on and it works, doesn't it, for everybody?
I think it's a podcast endemic. It never happened before. Podcasts, YouTube, nobody cared about accents until people were listening as an audience, and it become sort of like more entertainment.
See, but that's interesting as well, because obviously you guys have been doing this a lot longer than me. Like I had always assumed that. I don't know if I'd assumed. I don't want to make it sound like I was giving it conscious thought, but part of my thought process was that was expected.
No, I've never had it as a child. Playing the game to man and boy. Yeah,
I know that now, Stephen.
It is something. It's a modern phenomenon that people now think that everyone's listening to me. I need to put on an accent for this character.
All right, we move on to the last part anyway, and the last thing is the passive DM just sits back and lets chaos reign. No rulings, no boundaries. It's just,
Are they even a DM, I would say? What's that?
Can be fun, but especially, say, your Sprogs. I'm looking at you two there. For some of the Dragmorris stuff, because they would come up with stuff that was completely hat stand. But, yeah, fuck it. I just let them know what happened in response.
It's a sandbox then by all intents and purposes.
Some games got encourage it, doesn't they? Some of the rule sets of some modern games, they kind of don't have a DM, as it were, and they just let the players run riot, as it were. But
okay, so we'll tie it up there. I would like to end, and I know this might be difficult because you might not remember everything we said, but which DM would be the one that would put you off the most in playing their game if they had a particular trait that you would say can't do that? Barry, do you want?
I don't. I mean, I think it would probably be the railroading. If I'm conscious that I'm being railroaded, that would take the enjoyment away from me for sure.
Stephen?
Oh, without question, the DM that puts their own player characters front and centre.
Oh, God, yeah, you see.
Honestly, I couldn't play the game. I wouldn't.
Can I change my answer? 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 Can I change my answer?
Because that's doubly
The
annoying.
answer is no, you can't.
Okay, all right.
Okay. So I can't answer that. I'm annoyed at it now.
Mine would be, I think, the Fudger. I don't like fudging.
Yeah, can I change my answer? Can I change my answer? Can I change my answer? Can I change my answer?
No. Yeah, I don't like fudging. I just think it just takes away everything that I think the game should be about. And go with the flow. Go with things, and don't worry about which direction it leads. You can always bring it back. A good DM can always bring it back to the point that he wants it to be, and it's fun. That journey's the most fun, I think, especially as a DM. The idea of fudging just really I can't imagine it. It would ruin my enjoyment of DMing. So yeah, I don't want to see it in a DM either.
John, I notice you've left out a few, some of which target me specifically. The tech fail online DM. That is definitely
the John Blake DM. It says on my list.
So John's looking through the list, and I left a few of them out.
No, it's good.
Yeah, if you identify a few that are left out, mate,
again, bingo card all the way, baby. I win. I mean, lose.
But which one would you hate yourself the most about?
Yeah, who couldn't you play a game with? That's the question. Yourself.
Probably
randomly roll it if you like.
Yeah, it's getting that. Yeah, probably the Tyrant, which sort of tallies up with the All About Me on the last.
Yeah, okay. The Tyrant,
because you are there. It's a cooperative game, and I get the amount of effort that people can put into their compelling narrative and everything else. If they want to write like points in that and see how people react and maybe pad that out later and write a book of it, that's fine. That's actually brilliant.
Yeah.
But you can't, if you're just, they've got to do this, they've got to do that, it's got to be done in this way with no agency.
Okay, so let's just be honest. No, you'll not find one DM that's, I think, got none of these. I think every DM has a bad session as well, as Barry says. And I think as a DM, we're all kind of guilty of these things on and off. And perhaps we've ironed them out as we gain more experience. But yeah, be kind to your DM. It's a lot of work. So this is a bit tongue-in-cheek.
Therapy session for us.
Yeah, a little bit. Right, so we round things off. We're no longer doing Stephen's Words of Wisdom. We are doing Barry's. What do we call it?
Everyone's learnt the words
what do we
of
call
wisdom.
it? I can't remember now.
Hold on. Now the conversation that
Barry's
we had,
basics.
and there is a bit of a theme here with you, Mark, and I love you dearly. The conversation we had was that I suggested these as a thing, and we're all in games, and that we could collate funny things that were said at our tables.
Okay.
So how did you guys get on with that?
You should have reminded us of this. My table's not very funny.
Fortunately, my table is hilarious.
Yeah, go on then. That's just as well. You'll have to supply us with a few.
This is the hand on heart bit. I can't remember the ones that I've already read out, and what I should have done was highlighted them so that I knew that they'd been done.
Well, we might remember.
So if there's some repetition...
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's still funny.
We just cancel your slot.
So I'm gonna just go with two from fairly recently. So this, I do love a bit of alliteration. So the creepy cretin crept into the crypt.
Did just that happen on the fly?
That was a genuine sentence said at our table. No one that writes poetry is happy. I'm going to go with those two for today.
You said that one.
Oh, have I said that?
Yeah.
Oh, for fuck's sake. All right, hold on.
Really on it.
And what I should do now is remind you guys that
it's our responsibility.
My experience of civilization is that it's full of dickheads.
Words to live by.
Right, okay. Thanks for listening. We'll be back in a fortnight's time.
Toodles.